Now, WSAV is your local election headquarters. Senator Jon Ossoff was one of those people tough questioning Tulsi Gabbard during the hearing yesterday. Today, he talked to me about various things impacting folks all around the country and right here in Georgia. That includes the current housing crisis, the price of prescription drugs, and of course, the current expanding conflict in Iran.
And I investigated over the last 6 months these out-of-state companies who come in and they buy up homes in bulk in Georgia, driving up the cost of housing. That's why I called on the Senate to pass this bill to crack down on these big out-of-state companies that are buying up homes in Georgia and jacking up prices, and the Senate did pass the bill. Imagine a young family shopping for their first home. They already can barely cover gas, groceries, the power bill. They're trying to buy a stroller and a crib for their young child. Then they get out on the housing market and they're competing against huge corporations based in New York who can outbid them, who can pay cash same day with no inspection. It drives Georgians out of the housing market and it drives up the cost of homes. This bill imposes new limits on these big companies who are buying up homes in bulk. And it's been a long time coming. A group of us, Democrats and Republicans working together, have passed another new law that will accelerate approval of generic drugs to lower drug prices for Georgians and folks across the country. That's why we worked so hard to pass this bill to get generics onto the market faster, to break the grip of these abusive drug companies who have been ripping off people in Georgia for decades. This bill is going to make generic drugs, which are more affordable, easier to find, and more available on the market. Remember, we also passed several years ago a new law empowering Medicare to negotiate lower drug prices with the drug companies. It was opposed by every Republican, but Democrats passed that bill into law.
What has changed now to get Republicans, or hopefully get Republicans, on board with this bill?
Look, I'm always trying to work across the aisle to do what's right for Georgia, and we need to focus more on our national interest, our shared interest, and less on the partisan interests of each political party. That's what Georgians want. They don't want endless partisanship. They don't want red versus blue. They want families to be able to afford prescriptions, to afford health insurance, housing, gas, groceries, and the power bill. And we can bring people together to lower people's costs and lift up their standard of living. That's what we have to do. The administration needs to clarify its goals and objectives. And in the meantime, what I will do is I will continue to engage in vigorous oversight and ask those tough questions so the American people have a clearer sense of exactly what this administration is doing and why.